Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Darati Swapadantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So today we are reading from 3rd canto, 16th chapter and verse number 6. Yasamrata amala yasha shravanavagaha sadhya punati jagada sadhya punati jagatashvapachat vikuntha soham bhavad bhaya upalabdha sutirtha kirti chindam swabahum api vaha pratikula vrittim yasya, of whom, amrita, nectar, amala, uncontaminated, yasha, glories, shravana, hearing, avagaha, entering into, sadhya, immediately, punati, purifies, jagat, the universe, ashvapachat, including even the dog eaters, vikuntha, without anxiety, sa, that person, aham, I am, bhavad bhaya, from you, upalabdha, obtained, sutirtha, the best of pilgrimage, kirti, the fame, chindyam, would cut off, sarvabahum, my own arm, api, even, vaha, towards you, pratikula vrittim, acting inimically. Translation: anyone in the entire world, even down to Chandala, who lives by cooking and eating the flesh of the dog, is immediately purified if he takes bath in hearing through the ear the glorification of my name, fame, etc. Now you have realized me without doubt. Therefore, I will not hesitate to lop off my own arm if its conducting found hostile to you. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Real purification can take place in human society if its members take to Krishna consciousness. This is clearly stated in all Vedic literatures. Anyone who takes to Krishna consciousness is, in all sincerity, even if he is not very advanced in good behavior, is purified. A devotee can be recruited from any section of human society. Although it is not expected that everyone in all segments of society is well behaved. As is stated in this verse and in many places in Bhagavad Gita, even if one is not born in a Brahmana family, or even if he is born in a family of Chandalas, if he simply takes to Krishna consciousness, he is immediately purified. In Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter, verses 30 to 32, it is clearly stated that even though a man is not well behaved, if he simply takes to Krishna consciousness, he is understood to be saintly person. As long as a person is in this material world, he has two different relationships in his dealings with others. One relationship pertains to the body, and the other pertains to the spirit. As far as bodily affairs or social activities are concerned, although a person is purified on the spiritual platform, it is sometimes seen that he acts in terms of his bodily relationships. If a devotee is born in a family of Chandala, the lowest caste, is sometimes found engaged in his habitual activities. He is not considered to be Chandala. In other words, a Vaishnava should not be evaluated in terms of his body. The Shastras state that no one should think the deity in the temple to be made of wood or stone, and no one should think that a person coming from a lower caste family who has taken to Krishna consciousness is still of the same low caste. These attitudes are forbidden. because anyone who takes to Krishna consciousness is understood to be fully purified. He is at least engaged in the process of purification. And if he sticks to the principle of Krishna consciousness, he will very soon be purified. The conclusion is that if one takes to Krishna consciousness with all seriousness, he is to be understood as already purified, and Krishna is ready to give him protection by all means. The Lord assures herein that he is ready to give protection to his devotees, even if there is need to cut off part of his own body. Om Agyana Timirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. So, in this verse, text 6, there are two parts of this verse. First part is where it is mentioned that how one can be purified. And second part is what is Krishna's respond or action to the person who has become his devotee. So I will just read the first part of the translation again. Anyone in the entire world, even down to the Chandalas, who lives by cooking and eating flesh of the dog, is immediately purified if he takes bath in hearing through the ear the glorification of my name, fame, etc. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada, first he's talking in his purport that how one can get purified and what exactly is the real purification. So Srila Prabhupada is saying that one can be purified if one takes to Krishna consciousness. And sometimes we try to purify ourselves, just the behavior, and not the internal consciousness. So then it is like trying to change the shadow of the object without changing the object. So but we should try to change the object itself in order to change the shadow of the object. So similarly, we should try to, what Srila Prabhupada is saying is, we should try to change our consciousness rather than mainly focusing on our behavior. And how one can really get purified, and the behavior will change automatically when we have our internal purification. So Srila Prabhupada is saying how one can be really purified, and it can be done only by taking to Krishna consciousness. And actually that is what even Lord Vishnu is saying here. That if when one is engaged in hearing the glories of the Supreme Lord, of the Supreme Lord, his name, fame, etc., then one becomes purified. So then the next question comes that can anyone take to Krishna consciousness? Like, doesn't one have to have a good behavior? One second. Sorry. Yes, sorry. I'm back. So, doesn't one has to have a good behavior to become a devotee or take to Krishna consciousness? No. Good behavior, Srila Prabhupada is saying, it is not the qualification. And here also in the translation of this verse also, like Lord Vishnu is saying, even the Chandala, right, can become purified just through the process of hearing and chanting. So good behavior is not the qualification. The only qualification, then like the question comes, and what is the qualification? So the only qualification is the sincerity. And later in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is saying that the conclusion is that if one takes to Krishna consciousness with all seriousness, sincerity, all seriousness, then one is supposed to be understood as completely purified. So now, if that is not the qualification. So now we are saying, Srila Prabhupada is saying that the qualification is seriousness. It is not the good behavior. It's not that first we should behave nicely, then only we can become a devotee. Anyone can become purified, can become a devotee, given that we are serious in our bhakti. We are very sincere in our bhakti. So in purport, Srila Prabhupada is saying, there are two ways in which we interact. Okay, or there are two ways we are interacting with others in different relationships. One is on the bodily platform, and second one is on the soul platform. So on the soul platform, when one takes up to the bhakti process, one is doing their sadhana, right? Now, on the bodily platform, the way we behave, our behavior may be based on our conditioning, like the kind of body we have taken. So, our behavior may be based on that, but we should remember what Krishna is saying in this verse and what Srila Prabhupada is saying in the purport. But since one has taken to the process of bhakti, one will get purified for sure. So there is one example that I was listening that Radhanath Swami Maharaj gave, and it's very good. If someone is going on the road and one falls into mud, so one gets all dirty. But then if one goes to the shower to take bath, and if one is under the shower, then one will become free of mud. So similarly, even though we may have taken different type of body based on our past karmas or our desires, but if we have taken up the process of Krishna consciousness, then definitely for sure we will get purified. And that just brings us to another thing, and that is that we should not judge someone, a devotee, especially a devotee, based on their behavior. We should keep this in our mind, what Lord Vishnu is saying, what Srila Prabhupada is saying, what Krishna has mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, and in many other our scriptures it is mentioned, that when one takes to Krishna consciousness, then one will become purified for sure. And one is considered to be pure. So if we judge a devotee, first of all, then we are doing nama prad also, right? Because we are not trusting the scriptures, what the scriptures are telling us. And secondly, we are hurting our bhakti also. And so that's why I just wanted to, like, that was my own meditation, that when I was reading the purport, that at least I should not take it lightly. The path of bhakti should take it very seriously. And judging, like if we like in Kali Yuga, at least if we think of bad of someone, then at least that is not considered as a karma. But what happens when we are thinking like that, based on our thinking, we will behave in that manner too. So that's why we should be like very careful when we are dealing with the devotees, and in our thought process also we should be mindful that how we are thinking. That's what I was thinking. I was hearing one of my spiritual master, Indradumna Maharaj's lectures, and he was giving the example. Sorry. He was giving the example that when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he took all the sinful reactions of Jaghai and Madhai, then at that time his complexion became like really black. Not Shyama, Krishna black, no, it was like black, really black. And then all the devotees like started they become very anxious, and they wanted Gauranga Mahaprabhu to came back to his again golden complexion. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I have taken all these sins of Jagai and Madhai, and if anyone criticizes or blaspheme any devotee, then these sinful reactions will go to that person. So my spiritual master in Russian, he was saying, Uvaga, we should be careful. We should run from that. If we are really serious in our bhakti, because if we become light, like I was listening to Srila Prabhupada's lecture, and he was saying that we should take it with all seriousness, because we have gotten this human form of life, and not only human form of life, we have gotten the association of devotees, the association of our spiritual master, association with the holy names, association with the glories of the Supreme Lord. So we should be very, very careful, because by accident, if we fall down, that means millions of years again in the loop. So we should be very careful when we are dealing with the devotees. And that was, and that is what I was thinking. And when I was reading this verse, and what is the reciprocation of the Supreme Lord when one takes to bhakti? And that Krishna is saying here, Lord Vishnu is saying here, that he will not hesitate to lop off his own arm if its conduct if its conduct is found hostile to you. So in purport, Srila Prabhupada is saying, and Krishna is ready to give him protection by all means. The Lord assures herein that he is ready to give protection to his devotees, even if there is need to cut off part of his own body. So that is what I wanted to speak on it. So if anyone has any comment or any realization on that, please share.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances also. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you, Mataji. Wonderful class. As always, you are inspiring. Mataji, practical application, I'm a little confused. So how do we know who is a devotee and who is not a devotee? Because we are recommended to have devotee association and not have non-devotee association. A lot of times, like even in the Japa group that we have, there is one person who reports 20, rounds every day. But, I don't see that person regularly in the temple or any other place. Now, since we are not allowed to judge because that can become an offense, how do we know who is a devotee, who is not a devotee? Who do I actually associate with? I'm actually confused. So, thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. I know you know the answer, but thank you so much for bringing this up. And yeah, so so when you're asking, you're saying that who is the first thing is who is a devotee, and what is the other thing, Prabhu? Our dealings with them.
Yeah, because we're not supposed to deal with non-devotees. How do I know who is a devotee and not a devotee? Because I can find the devotee in a lot of non-religious places, but if I don't use my judgment, how do I do that? And if I use my judgment, I may be offending.
I see. Yes, Prabhu, I got it. Okay. So there is another word for judgment. I'm trying to be in. I'm not able to recall the word.
Discrimination, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. So it is hard to not judge. Actually, it's very hard at times, and I'm just we are just having discussion, Prabhu. So you please chip in too. I will just say out loud what I'm thinking, and you please bring your points also. So I was thinking that on first, who is a devotee, who is not a devotee. I was hearing one lecture yesterday, and then that Prabhu was saying that there is a verse somewhere, I don't remember where it is, but I'm sure you all would be aware of that verse, that even if one thinks that I will go to the temple tomorrow, or I will start my process of bhakti, then Yamraj, Yamraj is collecting the list of all the things that we have done, right? So Yamraj thinks now, since he's thinking of taking up the process of bhakti, then he will definitely be purified. So Yamraj just throws away all the kalachita, all the things that he has made list of. So the devotees, as we know, on the various levels like Kanishta, Madhyam, and Uttama. So I believe Kanishta is anyone who has even chanted even Krishna's names once. And in when in Chaitanya Leela, when I'm forgetting whether it was who was it? Maybe I think it was Srinivasacharya. When he was chanting, there was a Muslim. He was chanting all day and night in front of a palace of the Muslim ruler. So the Muslim ruler was very angry. He brought him in. He got him. He asked him to come inside, and he said that, "Why are you chanting Krishna's names?" So I forgot whether it is Srinivasacharya or someone else, or Gadadhar Pandit, one of those two. So he started dancing, Gadadhar Pandit and or Srinivasacharya, he started dancing in ecstasy that you have chanted Krishna's names once. So it is like if one takes up to the process, one is chanting the names of the Supreme Lord, then one is considered to be a devotee. But the devotee are on different levels like Kanishta, Madhyam, and Uttama. So with Kanishta here, it is like here in the purport, like Srila Prabhupada is saying that we should consider that person to be purified, but knowing that one will become purified in due course of time. Even if even if we chant Krishna's names even once, then maybe not in this lifetime, maybe in other coming lifetimes, that person will be purified. So that is how I think, Prabhu, that person is a devotee. And regarding discrimination and association, so I was my understanding is, Prabhu, when we associate to someone, when we are associating with someone who has just started bhakti, we give them our association, and those who are we are on the same similar level, we make friendship with them, and higher level, then we serve them, and means we are serving everyone. But your input, Prabhu, on that, what is your say on that?
Mataji, what you're saying, all of that, yeah, is what we hear from our, Shiksha Guru, or even our, spiritual master. The difficulty is in implementing, correct? The
Yes,
difficulty. So the assumption is whomever we meet in the temple, though it is such a very basic thing, because I'm a Kanishta, anyone who comes to the temple I can consider is a devotee of the Lord, and I can interact with those people, So those devotees can be in any of the three, classifications. But I know that I'm not a peer to anyone. I'm always below, or around the Kanishta area. So that is the easier part. The difficult part is every day we meet a lot of people in the work or in other places, you know, and that is where. But what you said makes a lot of sense. How to identify a devotee over a period of time, we can make the observation and then come to a conclusion. Until then, hold back on judging, which is, like being a social animal, judging comes very naturally.
Yes,
So
Prabhu. Judging comes
hold it
very
back.
naturally, Prabhu. Yeah,
Yeah.
it comes very naturally. And the problem is, like what I see, a problem with that is, like, although we do not get the reaction if we think it in our mind, but if we think like that, then it comes into our behavior somehow or other. So that's why it is very risky, and it is hard to implement also. How I find that, like how I try to, like, even I am in the same boat, Prabhu. It's hard. So how I try to do that is, like, I'm also, like, as you said, we all are trying, right? So I'm also trying. How I try to do that is, first of all, not judging myself. Because if I judge myself, then I will judge others also. That's how I feel. So I'm learning these mindful techniques, in the sense that, first of all, seeing things as they are. Like, for example, I'm wearing this green dupatta. So I'm just seeing the green color. But if I'm seeing green color, then it is an objective view of a thing, that this cloth is green. But if I put emotions into it, that this green color reminds me of something, other person was wearing green and that person said this, and then, if we create a whole of emotional thoughts around this green color, then it becomes subjective thinking. So how I'm, like, trying to deal with this is just first to see, even if, like, let's say if I'm seeing some quality in someone, good or bad, doesn't matter, any quality in someone, then just see that as a quality. Okay, that person is like that. That is the objective view. Then we are not judging. And when we have that objective view, then I try to see that how is that person's behavior is disturbing me. And then I see, okay, that person's behavior is disturbing me in that manner. Then I go further into that. That is how I deal with it, Prabhu. Try to deal with it. That's how I feel that I'm not, that way I'm not judging other. I'm just seeing objective as the things are, and then seeing how it is affecting me. And then I go from there, whether I can communicate to that person or I need to fix it on my side. And even if I don't have to fix it on my side, if I communicate to that person, if that thing is going to work or not. And if it is not going to work, then again, I need to change something in myself, because I cannot change the other person. But the first step I see in that is, Prabhu, not judging myself. That is the first thing, because I see so many impurities in me, right? So instead of thinking, oh my God, I have so many things and this and that, I just try to bring my mind again into the objective thinking, that, okay, this is there, I have this. And sometimes I even say, there is nothing wrong with it, I have these things in me. So that really puts me in peace, actually. And then I can work on my impurities also. But if I immediately judge that, okay, it is something bad, I should not be like that, then I'm putting my impurities under my rug. And I cannot really uh, work on those.
Okay.
That I try to, that is how I take my approach, Prabhu.
Yeah, Mataji, that's so nice. You brought up the green color, how seeing it objectively versus emotionally. While in the discourse you also mentioned, like how changing the shadow will not work. You need to
Yes.
change the shape of the object
Huh.
for the shadow to change. That is true change, which is,
Huh.
like we know this shadow show that people do where they make their hands in forms. So you see a giraffe or you see an elephant or a bird, it's all on the hand. There is no real elephant or bird around us. Whereas, yeah, what you're suggesting, I like that argument also. And ultimately, I think the safest bet is to see everyone as a devotee and observe, and then, finally decide if you really want to associate or not associate with somebody. you
Yes,
know
that's very true. And then decide whether we want to associate that person or not. Because even if that person is a devotee, Prabhu, even then maybe associating with them may not be very good for us.
hmm
So then we can think that yes, maybe, maybe it may like, um, I'll give you one example that really helped me. I know someone, I was talking to her, and that really helped me in seeing things as they are. When she said that we were talking about something that I did not like someone's behavior because someone did behave that way. Then she brought up a very good point. She said that we should, like, if I blame the whole, that person overall may not be bad, that person's that act may have hurt me, right? So instead of saying that that person is bad because that person behaved like that, I can just say that I did not like the way that person behaved with me in that manner because it hurt me like that. So that helped me to, you know, see things as they are rather than judging the person. And also, even in devotees, some with some devotees, our devotional service will enhance. With some devotees, it may not. So it's not a judgment, but it is basically knowing what helps me, what does not help me, and then we take action accordingly while respecting the other person at the same time.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mata. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu. It's 8:07. If no one has any point, then we can just conclude. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Vanchikalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Devote Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.